How do I know? A lot of people, when they think of the phrase, how do I know, they always want to put the what behind it. How do I know what I'm supposed to do? The question that you really should ask is, how do I know why I'm here? Because when you know your why, your what becomes more clear and more impactful. If you know, like for instance, people know that I do comedy, but that's what I do. My why is to inspire people to walk in purpose. So I can do comedy, I can write books, I can be in a movie, because all of it is motivated by my why. In fact, I have a new web series out called Michael Jr. Break Time. We probably just did the 6th episode. It's on YouTube. So every single Wednesday at 3 o'clock, we drop a new episode on YouTube of Michael Jr. Break Time. What it is it's me. I travel around the country and I do stand-up comedy, in case you didn't know. And in the middle of my comedy set sometime, I'll stop and just talk to my audience. And we've been filming this, and it's pretty cool. So we're in Winston-Salem. I'm going to show you a clip from Winston-Salem. And I'm just talking to this guy in the audience, and he tells me that he's a musical instructor at a school. So I was like, all right, you're a musical instructor. Can you sing? Let me hear you sing a song. So this is what happened at the last episode of Michael Jr.'s Break Time. Check it. So you're a musical director. Cool.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get a couple bars of like Amazing Grace. Can you do the first part of that? Go ahead.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Wow. That bro could sing. You know what I'm saying? All right. Now, what you give me the version is if your uncle just got out of jail, you got shot in the back when you was a kid. I'm just saying, let me see the hood version real quick, if you know which version I'm talking about. Just see if that exists. Let me see what you got.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now, right now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Okay. Here's what I want you to catch. The first time I asked him to sing, he knew what he was doing. The second time, he knew why he was doing it. When you know your why, your what becomes more impactful because you're walking towards or in your purpose.
Man, our partners at BetOnline continue to be the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. Hey, this is everybody. It's Lloyd Spence. And listen, you can find all the latest sports developments, including updated odds on the NBA playoffs, fights, and even next season's futures. And don't forget that the Major League Baseball is back as well. Who are you picking to win the World Series? Man, I got the Braves, man. I feel like they're going back to back. Because BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas, casino, and poker games. It's super easy to get started. So head on to the website today and use your mobile device to join and use your promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, to receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Go on over to BetOnline. It's where the game starts. And tell them the Noisemaker show.
Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Yeah. Can I make you groove now? Yes, I can. So you can get this groove in a bag of again. You can make it round the world when the holes in your hand. Popcorn World. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. Popcorn World. It's a popcorn world. It's a popcorn world. to Talkin NOIZ, the daily podcast that brings you up to speed and keeps you informed about real issues affecting real people. With your host, Mr. Talkin NOIZ himself, Lloyd Spence. His beautiful wife, Mrs. NOIZ, Kenyatta Spence. The ever-informed Brother NOIZ, Alan Brown. And yours cordially, Uncle NOIZ, Shake Anderson. Come on in and join us as we reveal and opine today's most pressing issues. Real truth while having real fun. Talkin NOIZ is in your house right now. So sit back and enjoy Talkin NOIZ.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Huh? Anybody? Julie, hey, guess what day it is? Oh, come on, I know you can hear me. Mike. What day is it, Mike? Leslie, guess what today is?
It's hump day.
Woo-hoo!
It is hump day, but it is also Women Wednesday. And I could introduce the next guest. I feel like she's family to me. I could say some things, but her other friend is here too, and she's known her longer, so I guess I should let her introduce her.
I mean, wow.
I'm just saying I could have done it.
Noisemakers, let me introduce you and reintroduce you to
like
our friend
Lala. I like her. You're good people. Just saying.
To our friend and Mr. NOIZ's friend.
That's all I'm saying.
Oh my gosh. And the loving wife of Mr. Will Key.
Hi, family.
The beautiful, the wonderful, the community activist, real estate goddess, Laura Key. We call her Lala.
Hi. Thank you for having me. I always feel so comfortable and welcome here. Thank you for having me.
Well, we've never had you in official capacity before. This is exciting.
It is exciting. It is exciting. And the more we educate people, the better.
Well, let's educate people about what's going on this wall. What is happening with all these mermaids and stuff on the wall? What is going on?
I am a Pisces. I lack water.
Oh, well.
And I even have a little fishing net at the top with my little sand dollars and
Oh, you got starfish and the whole nine.
Lala, when is your birthday?
February 23rd.
This is why we're so close.
Oh my
I get it
God.
now.
Water baby too, huh?
I get it now.
Yes.
We are bonded by the water.
Yes, it's something about that water that makes me happy.
You will never understand, Kenyatta. You're not.
You're right. You're right, because I am the earth to your water.
That's right. Gotta have that balance. And my hubby is Aries, so that's fire. So fire and water.
All right.
Wow.
I give you that, but I'm just saying.
Wow. Okay.
Carry on.
I love it. I don't know why people don't think that has something to do. God created everything, not just the earth.
Yeah.
He's created the stars, the heavens, the universe. We're all connected. So those things do have value.
I'm just saying. Listen.
Mama Noise, your microphone is doing something weird. Can you just disconnect it and put it back in? And while you do that, I want to thank you, Lala, for being with us today.
He did, so I would.
I didn't do anything. I can't make your mic not work right.
You're like, why are you fixing that? So, Lala.
Carry on. Just go. What?
Lala, we're so excited to have you here today. With all the things that's going on in real estate, there's so many questions. You have so much experience in that. What's your take on what's going on right now? Just that part right there.
We can't sustain what we're going through. One thing that you're going to get out of me is always going to be truth. I am not going to fluff it. No sale is worth lying to people to. We cannot sustain this market right now. There's so much craziness going on, overbidding, corporations buying homes and putting them back on the market for $50,000, $60,000, over asking, corporations buying them and renting them out. There was a huge article on CBS not too long ago where they showcased all these corporations buying these homes and beating out all these home buyers, and then putting it on the market for rent, and then saying, no, the American dream, now it's no longer owning, it's renting. Do you know how many people put that in their head and now they won't use this as generational wealth? So you have a lot of things going on in this industry right now that needs to be clear and straightforward. So you need to think for yourself and get educated. And that is what I have always done. I've been in this business since 2006. I teach at nonprofit organizations. I have my own course because you need to be educated whether you're buying or you're selling. Not just buyers. Sellers need to be smart too. So this market right now is quite upside down. And at some point, it's going to have to self-correct.
Well, let me ask you. So let's dispel the rumor. There are some people that's like, well, it's better to own a home. Mm-hmm. But then there are some people that's like, it's better to rent a home. Mm-hmm. What's your take on the difference?
Owning is always going to give you the power. I do not care if you own just a condo that is 600 square feet. That is how you start building your wealth. You see, the difference between renting and owning is you're paying someone else's mortgage when you're renting. You might as well, one of my favorite memes is from the Little Rascals, and one of the kids is throwing money out the window. That's basically what you're doing when you're renting. You're paying someone else and you're building their wealth. And all that money you can't really recoup. But when you own, not only do you own that little piece of land or a little plot of condo, you're building wealth because real estate always appreciates. Now we have cycles, we go up and down, but if you're in it for a long haul, you're building wealth. Perfect example. I sold a young kid, smart, started early, and this is why we need to start teaching our kids early. 21, getting ready to go to college. Dad helped him buy a condo, and it wasn't even that fancy, okay? Bought a 2-bedroom condo, rented one side out, lived in one side. Mm-hmm. By the time he got finished with college, that property had tripled in this market. He sold it and bought a home. Wow. This is your power. So don't let somebody steal your power by telling you you only can rent. I don't care if you're 92 and you all of a sudden say, I want to buy a home, but I'm too old. No, you're not. Because it's something that you can pass down to the generations.
But okay, so before I gotta go ahead. You asked a great question. And I wanted to kind of, and she gave a great answer, but I think there's probably, as they say, there's probably more meat on that bone. Okay. You said this market can't sustain where we are now. So my question would be, number one, how did we get here? and where is here? Like, where are we in? What would you call this market right now?
Okay. There are 3 types of markets. First, there is a buyer's market when there's so many houses on the market that buyers can have their pick, and they also can ask sellers for certain things before closing. The second market is what I call the gray market. That's just when we're in the middle. And this is when the seesaw starts coming. So start seeing the markets as a seesaw. So you're in the middle, and there may be enough inventory. You may still get a little something if you're buying it, and you still may get a good profit off of your home. But if it's a seller's market and you're a buyer, that means there's not that many homes. Many people are competing, and many people are going above and beyond to get that home. So we are currently in a seller's market, and we have been for a while. So what that means to a buyer is they go to put an offer on a house, there's probably about 10 other offers on that house. You got to get really creative. Okay, we're going to shorten our terms to get the house closed. And we'll talk about that too, because there's a process to buying a home. We will pay a little bit extra to you if it doesn't appraise. We may help the seller with some of their closing costs if you let us have this house. So you are basically woo, woo, woo to the seller in this market. And that's where we are today.
So a buyer in this market would essentially, if I'm hearing you correctly, would not do well. Like they would lose considerably, or could lose considerably if you're not savvy.
Correct. They could if they don't have a good person helping them, if they have not taken the time to educate themselves and know their boundaries. I'm closing deals, guys. I just closed one yesterday in California, and they were a buyer. We put in 10 offers, okay? And let me tell you, we ended up being a backup offer and ended up getting that. So my client ended up paying, because he paid $200,000 over asking for a house in Pasadena. That's what it took. However, here in Florida, I just got word right before the show that we have an accepted offer for one of my clients. And she only had to pay $10,000 over asking, but she also has a lot of concessions in there that the seller agreed to. So I'm starting to see that seesaw come down just a little bit in some areas, but don't get happy. You hear people saying, well, I'm just going to go in here in this bingo hall and I'm going to play, $5 worth. And before they come out of there, they didn't spend $125, right?
Right.
You can't do that with this market either. Know your limits. You can't just say, well, I'm going to give you $500,000 if the house is $450,000 if you don't have it. You got to learn to play the game, and there is great strategy.
But I keep hearing some homeowners, now some, they complain about being homeowners. And, for people that are trying to anticipate whether they want to be a homeowner or continue to, as you said, throw money out the window, they just think, okay, well, one of the benefits about renting is at least I know they're responsible for a whole lot of different things, where when you're the homeowner, you're responsible for all those things.
Correct. But it has to be in your comfort zone. That is when it becomes a personal choice. I can say it is easy to rent, but you don't have the control over how much that rent's going to go up.
Right.
Your mortgage pretty much stays the same. So 10 years from now, your mortgage is going to be the same. And and that's what's happening in California and in Florida. These rents have doubled. People have had to move out. They can't afford it anymore, or they have 4 and 5 families living in one place. Sure, your landlord will take care of things, maybe. But at what cost to you? Now, there are levels to home ownership. If you don't like yard work, get you a townhome with an HOA where they take care of that yard for you. You may pay a little bit more for an association, but you don't have those issues. And there's home warranties that you can buy to help you in case something breaks.
In a seller's market, what should an aggressive buyer or what should a real estate person do in a seller's market? Should they be buying up homes in a seller's market? Is that a good time to get it, or is that not a good time to start buying homes?
Typically, people say don't really try to buy in a seller's market. But let's look at what's going on in the world. Inflation is at its highest that we've ever seen. Food, perfect example. A regular $100 bill that I go and buy the same thing is now $150. Okay. Yeah. So homes are going in the same direction. So it's when you're ready to dip in and when you can dip in at your level. That's the smartest play. So yes, it's a seller's market and you may have a very hard time getting a home, but with a good strategy, overall, that home is still going to appreciate. So you're always going to be looking at good money. Even if it's a bad neighborhood, sometimes the market will go down a little bit. But let me tell you something. When I moved to California, people were like, "You're not going to sell in Compton, are you?" I go where the people need to go, okay? Compton had his first $1 million home 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Compton is not what you think it is. So whereas that used to be where you could get an affordable home in California, in Los Angeles in particular, it's now become a regular market. You just got to know, okay, let's research the neighborhood. Let's research the resources. Let's research all this stuff, which is a good agent is going to help you do that. But it's always a good time to buy if you're planning on holding it. Now, if you're trying to flip it, like watching these shows and all this millionaire real estate stuff, nah, you got to be savvy for that. You're going to be coming in as a regular buyer. And if you can hold on to that property for at least 5 to 7 years, you will have appreciation.
Is flipping it a good idea?
Yes, a lot of people are making good money with that. If you can get into a really good and experienced flipping group and you can swallow the hardcore stuff, you can. But you got to know what you're doing, guys, because you can lose a lot of money. I have a very good investor who works with me. Him and his wife are young. They're like 26 and they have like 4 or 5 houses. And one of their houses they purchased with me. And now they've opened up to other parts of the country because California is so high. They've lost a lot of money because when they get the inspections back, some of these homes are not so good and they're not willing to put the extra money in it. So, hey, you got to be willing to risk the $5,000 to $10,000 that you laying down. But you can't only do that so many times. So flipping is not for the faint of heart.
Well, what is it that I notice that a lot of people steer clear of home ownership because they don't really understand what's expected of them. Correct. What exactly would you say is, dispel the rumors, because folks there's a fear there that says, well, I'm probably not going to qualify anyway.
That's it. Fear. Get over yourself. What are you scared about? A closed hand never gets fed. Okay? If you don't ask or know where you are, that's your first step. Your first step is, oh God, I'm scared to look at my credit. Oh God. Well, if you don't know where it is, you don't know where to start. And it's really not that scary. You may be disappointed about what it is at the beginning, but here's the good news. You can change it.
Okay.
And there are many programs that will help you change it too. That's why I work with a lot of nonprofit organizations that help with down payment, help you build your credit where you need it to be done. Mm-hmm. I have great resources for someone that can help you with their credit. You've got to be able to want to put in the work. Mm-hmm. The fear comes from society telling you, you can't. And then you get it in your head and you're like, I can't. But let me tell you something, baby. I worked with this lady in Denver for 3 years. Wow. She wasn't ready. She knew she wasn't ready. She was like, are you willing to work with me? And we got her together. And before you knew it, 3 years later, we got our house. You want something bad enough, you're going to get it. And she still owns that house to this day. I just got an email from her.
We got a question coming in from the chat. Chad says he's building a new home, and with delays with COVID and all, we already have 200 plus in equity, and the house isn't even built yet. Is that?
That's
Are you
right.
seeing a lot of that right now?
I am. And Chad, you got in at a great time because now home builders they're able to double. I went to take a client to see a new build community last week in Jacksonville, Florida. They started out those homes a year ago priced at $275. They are now $395 and above in just a year because the cost of inflation and also the demand for homes, because it does cost money. Look, don't just think the builders are always being greedy. They're not. They still got to pay for lumber and everything else, and that's all going up. So I'm not surprised that Chad has that. And matter of fact, I've had several people have the same thing.
This is from Sean. Ken, you want to read this one?
Sure. Oh Lord, hold on.
Get your glasses.
I saw a special on investors, foreign and domestic, are buying up a lot of houses with full cash offers, making it hard for single families to buy. Have you heard anything about this?
Facing it every single day. It's very interesting because it's also coastal. I see it so much more happening here in Florida, where these companies such as, I'm going to say what I call the bad word, Zillow, don't use it. Please stay away from it. I'll explain later. Don't.
Yeah, you got to come back to that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have serious things about that. Zillow,
Wow.
OfferPad, all those homes are coming in and buying up a lot of homes that need fixing up. And then they will fix them up and sell them at a higher price. But it's good and bad, guys. Most first-time buyers can't get in there and fix it up. And they can't buy it either because the loan won't let them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of bittersweet. And yes, it's happening, but I think it's now time for the government to step in with that. I don't like government in my business. Let me tell you, I don't like them. But when things go like this, where the typical American cannot live the American dream,
Mm-hmm.
we have a problem. We have a problem. So yes, it is happening. I'm seeing it, but I'm also beating out some of those people too. Because let me tell you, there are some homeowners that are like, I am not. I don't care how much you offer me. I am not selling my house to a corporation. And it's because it's all a personal preference. And then you have some sellers that like, just sell it. I don't care. But it depends on the seller.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh.
You're doing good.
How can we make you 30-year mortgage on how can you make a 30-year mortgage on an asset instead of just a liability? Make money off your mortgage.
Leverage it, babies. Leverage it. And let me tell you how to do that. When you first get into your home, my first suggestion to people is because you're getting used to like, oh my God, I got a mortgage. What's going to happen? You got to get used to your new bills. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Get settled in for a couple of years and get your rhythm into that. Okay. What you need to do to help leverage that is to pay, even if it's $50 or $100 extra a month. Come on, you ain't got to go to the movies. Put the pop down. You don't need the pop. Okay. Make an extra payment to your mortgage company and put on that check. If you don't do this, it won't work. Principal payment only. Because when you first start paying your mortgage, you're paying the interest only, right? They put the interest up front. But if you say, put this toward my principal, balance start coming down, and that 30-year mortgage no longer is a 30-year mortgage. As you get closer, you're paying it off even with $50 to $100 extra a month. If you can make at least one extra payment a year, that's going to help you. Now, what do you do with that? That builds your equity, right? So now you take that little equity and go, can I do with this? You can take that and reinvest it into another property. This is where you can get a condo to rent out because they're typically lower. Okay. Not much maintenance because there's an HOA with it. Or like in California, which they are begging people to do, build an additional dwelling unit. I like to call them granny pods because I think that's just a cute name. You just get a little, you can even order them from Amazon. I kid you not. You can get you a little granny pad to put in your backyard and rent that out. Leverage. Now you've increased the value of your home and you have rental income coming in. That's how you leverage your mortgage.
How did you get so real estate?
Over and over, though. Please don't do that. Don't refinance over and over. You're taking your equity out when you do that. Do it when you need it.
How did you become so real estate savvy?
Ooh, boy, this has been a journey. I was a secretary for many years. I had my son very early, so I didn't go to a four-year college. I went to a trade school, and I was a secretary for a very long time. And I kept losing my jobs. They were downsizing. I never got fired. Okay, I got downsized a lot. And finally, with my last job, my father-in-law said, "You tired yet?" Because he was in real estate, and my husband was also looking at some property for us as well. And I said, "What do you mean? Am I tired yet?" He said, "Why don't you just give real estate a try?" And I said, "I never sold a thing in my life." But he said, "But you have a personality and you have to drive. So I need you to try that." So in 2006, I did. Now, in 2006, this was a totally different market. We were going through a massive foreclosure thing. Every other house was a foreclosure. There were brand new communities in Denver, Colorado that were mostly foreclosures. So a lot of people that I had just got in the business with was like, "Oh, don't worry about that. You don't need to learn that stuff. It ain't going to be a long cycle. Don't worry." These were people who were making money hand over fist. And here I was, new, didn't know nobody. So I said, how am I going to get into this? So I took it upon myself to learn the HUD process. HUD is Housing Urban Development. And they guarantee banks when people buy with FHA that they'll buy back the house if the person forecloses or can't pay for their home anymore. They're not in the business of keeping homes. So there was these houses, and their listing agents were only required to put one picture up. So at the time, before all these smartphones, went out and got me a cute little pink camera, went to all these houses and took all these pictures, took everything. Craigslist was big, learned everything I needed to learn about HUD, went up to the HUD office, introduced myself, took them donuts and coffee, took their class. They told me how to get my bids won. That's how I got started. But see, when you learn the good and the bad and the ugly, and you don't pretend like you know everything, that's how you get good at something.
Wow. You said a word there, Sister Cookie.
It was ugly.
Wow.
Ugly.
Well, and then also I want to throw something else out that probably a lot of people aren't prepared to hear, but it's probably the truth. There's a certain humility that comes along with saying, I'll sell the house that's in front of me, as opposed to I will only sell this type of home because I know that, if I sell this type of home, I'll make this type of money. That's true. But also selling the house in front of you is good as well. It's not a bad thing to help somebody get in a house that doesn't have a high profit margin. You know what I mean? There's a blessing and a joy in that as well. And long term, there's a profitability in that as well. Would you agree, disagree, or?
Totally agree. I totally agree. But that's why there's niches in this realtor game. You have some agents that won't leave Beverly Hills or West Hollywood, right? That's their niche. Those are those fancy people on these TV shows, which, by the way, is all lies. Okay. I've met all three of them. They're great people, but it's all fluff. Life doesn't work like that. You have people who maybe won't sell outside of Compton because that's where they grew up and they want to help their community. Me, My niche was first-time buyers. I love to teach first-time home buyers courses. I love to help them get their first set of keys ever in their life. That's rewarding to me. But the bottom line is, I don't care if you're selling $1 million. I don't care if you're selling 500. I don't care if you're selling 50,000 because Alabama got 50,000 dollar houses. You're still doing the same amount of work for different levels of money. So, how do you decide? You have to go where your heart tells you. And my heart is helping first-time homeowners and first-time home sellers. Because once you get that house and now you're ready to leverage it, you've never sold a home before. Now what? I was on the other side the last time. So that's my niche.
You know, this information is so valuable because, you know, when my mom was a single mom and somebody connected her to a first-time homeowners program that said if she took the classes, they would walk her through getting the home. And I will never forget how emotional I felt when we walked out to the land where her house was going to be built. And it was just a bunch of sticks with the little neon orange string coming off of them. And we just walked around and prayed over the land. But more than that, to be able to she was looking at swatches and, you know, trying to, you know, what color do I want my bathroom wall? What color do I want? And it was an experience because for her to have been a first-time homeowner and having it built. I mean, I imagine there are first-time homeowners that don't get the option of it being built and being able to choose, you know, you got a great living room and all that type of stuff. But to have started from the real scratch of sticks in the ground is a big deal. So for first-time homeowners, what's the first? You said the first step is to go find a plan or a program.
No, she said the first step is to stay on Zillow.
Yes, please do that.
Why is Zillow so bad?
Zillow.
We definitely losing that Zillow deal, but go ahead.
Zillow was very, very sneaky in what they did in this world. When I first got in the market, Zillow was little bitty tiny company. Okay. And their goal was to put houses on the market for the general public to see. Okay. Then it became, we got so big, we're going to put all these houses, and now we're going to sell you back your leads. These are your listings, but we're going to sell them back to you. Somebody's interested in this home, pay us $500 and we will give you this lead to sell your home. In the meantime, they weren't required to be brokers. They weren't required to have real estate license because that's not how they started, okay? They were supposed to be for informational purposes only. And then all of a sudden they came up with this imaginary unicorn called Zestimates. So when you go on Zillow, right, this house is worth such and such. Says who? You're taking a national average of homes instead of a specific niche and area and giving it a value. And even in the small little writing at the bottom, it says, we could be as much as $100,000 off on these values. Well, let's face it, guys, people are fickle. What they see is what they believe. If they don't know the truth, then the public is misinformed. And now Zillow has gone to the next level. And they've pretty much put an all-out attack on agents. And I have never been on board with Zillow, not even from the beginning. I pay my dues, and they ain't cheap. I belong to the National Association of Realtors, the local associations, Florida and California, and I pay my dues. My hard work needs to be protected. And Zillow took my hard work, meaning all of us agents, and created their own world where they created the rules. And the rules just don't work.
So Zillow just out here just lying on people.
Yeah, I don't really care for them. And come at me if you don't like me. I don't care. Because you did it, and you know you did it, and you know you're guilty. You're no better than these other corporations, Elon Musk and all them people buying up stuff and then using it for your own pockets and powers instead of serving the public. I take an oath, guys. I'm like a doctor. When we get our license, I have to swear to an oath that I am going to serve the public. I cannot discriminate. I cannot misinform you. I cannot get you in any kind of scams. Not that people don't do it, because there's always some bad apple somewhere.
Right, right.
But no, Lala, she's scared of that stuff, and I'm never gonna do it.
So it sounds like the first step is to find a credible realtor.
I was gonna say.
Yes. And how you do that, number one, talk to your family, talk to your friends, see who has purchased or sold something lately. Talk to them and say, I'm thinking about buying. How is your agent? And see what they say. Interview them. Don't just go with the first person, because all agents don't do the same thing. Like I said, you can go in California and say, I'd like to buy a house in Pasadena. And can you help me? Well, no, I'm sorry, ma'am. I only work, downtown LA. You have to make sure they know the areas that you are buying in. They know your needs. They are attentive to what you need. Your agent, you need to interview them. And if you don't like them, you need to be able to fire them.
So, okay, so to Kieta's point, I'm a first-time buyer. I'm totally intimidated by this process. How do I interview somebody with questions I don't know? I don't know what to ask. Like, do you like purple houses or red houses? Like, I don't know what to ask. Like, what do I ask?
Google is a wonderful thing.
Okay.
I actually have a download as well in one of my classes that says what you should ask your agents. You're always welcome to ask me, and I'm one who will just help you with anything you have, whether you use me or not. But your first thing is to Google. You can Google, and you'll get all this answer for no problem. What do I ask a realtor when I'm ready to start buying a house? And they'll give you questions that you can ask them. Number one, how long have you been in the business? You don't want someone who's an absolute newbie. But if you do choose someone who's a newbie, because I was a newbie at one time, I had a mentor. Yes, I've only been in real estate for 6 months, but my mentor's been in the market for 26, and she's with me at all times. Okay, that's okay. Ask them, do they know the market? Can they help you with vendors? Can they help educate you on the process? Or are they just so quick to put you in the car and say, this one, buy? Let me give you an example. I was not in real estate in 2001. That is when my husband and I decided to purchase a home in Denver, Colorado. We didn't know anything. We actually did go to a home buyer's class, but it was after someone had told us, you should use this realtor. And we said, okay, we did. We didn't know any better. My man was horrible. He showed up at our closing. We found the house. We found the vendors. We did everything that he should have been helping us do. And then he shows up in a sweatsuit. I was like, did you just come to our closing in a sweatsuit? Because that's not okay with me. I don't need you to be in a 3-piece suit, but I don't need you to come here looking like you came out of the gym either. So out of that created how I did my business years later. So your first step, just Google what to ask your agent, or reach out to me, real easy to find. And I'll give you that list of what you need to ask them.
So you have a list of things. Is it in the books? In all the books you got? You got a lot of books.
I got a lot of books because each one serves a different purpose. I have a home seller book to help educate them. I have a home buyer's book. I also have a home buyer's course that's all on video. You can watch it even while you're standing at the grocery store. I have a foreclosure book, and I have a probate book.
Wow, you out here, man.
Got to. If you don't love this industry, you're going to die on the vine. And my point has always been to educate people. Now, whether they want to take that education or not, because I'm going to be very serious right now. I had a doctor in LA, and he don't have much time. He didn't have time to get educated. I had to educate him as we was going along, because he was like, I don't have time. Oh, gotta go. Somebody needs surgery. So as we're doing this, you need to be able to work with someone who can work with you the way that you need to be worked with. Our clients are always the ones who come to these classes because they know what to expect.
We had one of the guys last night asked about commercial real estate and what the market is like for commercial right now. So is it a seller's market in commercial as well?
Well, depends on where you live. Like in
Mm.
Los Angeles, commercial is hot right now. People are doing new businesses. Why? Because we just came through COVID and people had life changes. Okay. People no longer, once they had to deal with themselves all by themselves at home, they're like, I don't need this job. I don't have to drive in to some job take 2 hours to get to work. I'm going to open my own cupcake business. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So the shift in what's happened in the world, wherever you are, is going to determine that market. In Los Angeles, it's hot commercial market. In Florida, I'm still seeing a lot of empty buildings, and I'm seeing a lot of people going out of business, and so that commercial comes back on the market as well.
So,
Because
so
they
is this
tried COVID.
so is this a good time to buy? Like you said, depending on where you are, this is a good time to buy because you should be able to get a pretty good deal on a
I
commercial
would say
property.
so. I
Wow.
would say so.
Okay.
Looking even if it's just a little storefront. And actually, guys, there's a lot of houses. I actually just showed one not too long ago that had the house above the shop. And the little lady's like, I'm buying that because I'm going to have my hair shop downstairs and I'm going to live upstairs. And that's what she did.
I guess you could get pretty creative in this market in a commercial property, huh?
You can, because commercial is different because you can charge several different types of ways for that property.
Well, just so happened, the question in the chat is, are there any good programs to help purchase commercial property in Louisville, Kentucky?
In Louisville, I need to check on that. There was a program that was doing that, but then during COVID, they kind of scaled back. But all you need to do is put down first time investors course in your state, in your city, and you will find things. Now, here's a little tip. Don't go with the first page on Google.
For real.
Those people pay to be on
They
there.
pay. That's a good point.
What you want to do is go to page 2, page 3, and then you start calling people. But call a local, no joke, call a local commercial agent, and they will be able to direct you to the best programs, because not all programs are good programs. And that's for home ownership and for commercial. So yeah, commercial is possible, and commercial, because it's considered, you're buying that and it's a business, it's an investment. So you would be going the investment road and not home ownership road. So there's different rules, but yes, there are programs for that.
There's a question that I've always wanted to ask a realtor, and I think this is the appropriate and proper time to do it. We're all out here wondering what it is. We'll ask, but nobody seems to be able to give us a straight answer. But I feel like you could.
And I will.
What is escrow? Why are they so difficult to deal with?
Escrow is different in many states. Okay, so let's talk about the process. Okay, let me give you a little history to that before we get to escrow, so you know where it is in the process.
Okay.
When you first are putting the house on the market or you're buying it, you have to go through a whole process to get to the closing. In the middle of that process, you have to have a third party company or an attorney in some states, or a company called title, that will handle all of the documentation, handle all the money, and make sure that everything is in order for that property to convey to you, Mr. Buyer, and out of the seller's name. Escrow can be very hard and frustrating because it is a lot of paperwork. You're killing trees. Okay, I don't care what people are saying about all this paperless stuff. Yes, escrow is child support for your house. Yes.
Okay.
Kinda. During this time it is, because they hold everything. Escrow's job is to make sure that everything is in order and to also protect that money. So if the money is there, like you putting your earnest money deposit down, everyone has to do this. Everyone has to have skin in the game. So example, if you're putting a house on the market and you're pricing it $500,000, typically you're going to put about 1%, 1 to 3% in escrow. That's your good faith. And it's not magic unicorn money. It ain't going nowhere. It's just going to sit there. Well, it's their job to protect it. It's also their job to help research on the property to see if there's any things that are not legal, or if someone else has an ownership to that house and someone else is trying to sell it. They're trying to give you free and clear title. So it's not easy, but they're what I call they're third party. They don't work for either side. They have to work for the transaction. In California, it's called an escrow. In Florida, in Colorado, it's under contract, and that's when they step in. And in some states, such as New York and New Jersey, an attorney will step in and do those things.
So escrow is like the dude that's holding the money between two guys that's playing on a basketball court. I ain't going nowhere. But whoever win, that's who getting his money.
Yes, but they really.
There you go. Now I can explain it to the people, to the homies now.
That's right. Now, see, that's easy to remember. Just know that you can't close a deal without them. I mean, you can if you want to go to but at some point, somebody's got to step in. Don't close a deal without escrow. Because you don't know.
Right, because they're going to make sure. They're not trying to see you lose, they're just trying to make sure it's fair.
Yeah, you don't want somebody you buying a house and then 10 years later, Aunt Susie comes back and says, "Who are you? I own this house."
Yeah, I don't want that. Though Aunt Susie is a lovely lady. Okay, so yeah, you got some more questions? And I don't know what kind of time we have. Do we have time?
I'm here as long as you need me.
Oh, look at Lala.
Oh, woo.
Well, okay. Well, since you're here as long as we need, let me do this real quick. This is the website, and I thought it was just to get the books, and that's what she told me. I'm gonna out you right now. She said, "Well, this is the website to get the book." No, this is the website for everything. She got books here. She got contact me, free consultations, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything. It's right here.
Yeah.
And you can PayPal it too. So you can just do all of it right there. So write that down. And if you got questions, you want to meet with her privately, hit her up and she'll answer all those questions like we're talking about right now. But this is the website.
Matter what state you're in, because my network is very strong. If you were to contact me and you're in Connecticut, I got you. Don't worry about it.
Really? Wow. So you're like a mogul.
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to take that and run with it.
Run with it. Run with it. This is the website, and by the way, it's one of the nicest, user-friendly websites I've ever been to. So you feel like you're being welcomed in on the website. The About page is fire. They captured your very essence in the About page. So I just wanted to throw those out there real quick. Okay. I know Cuz Noise was out there a minute ago. He said he had some questions. I'm hoping he's out there.
I don't know what REO means. I don't know if that was a question for her or because I don't know the translation.
REO means real estate owned. And that just means that a corporation or a bank took it back. It was a foreclosure. It could be a private entity that does it, or it could be a corporation, or it could be a HUD, which is the same thing. HUD repos are called REO, but they're just called HUD homes. There is a wonderful site if you just want to see HUD homes. It's called HUDhomestore.com. You can find that. HUDhomestores.com. It's real easy. You can pull it up. Let me double check myself while I'm telling people that, because you can go to any state. HUDhomestore.com, correct. You can go to any state, drop down that menu and see what homes they have in that market. Now, I'm going to tell you, some of them, woo, Lord, they need some work. But they also have some programs called the 203K loan. That is a construction loan. If you qualify, that will help you fix up those properties. And guys, this is something a lot of people don't talk about, but I do because I'm a firm believer in it. I've helped 7 people with this. It's called the Good Neighbor Next Door. You have to qualify for this program by being a teacher, a firefighter, a law enforcement person, or an EMT. And I've actually, some people are like, the sheriff's count? Yeah, you're still a law-abiding person. You can arrest people. So as long as you have arrest powers, that's considered law. And it is a strict program. But you can get the house for 50% off I've helped a lot of people.
Wow.
If it's a special HUD house, not all HUD homes qualify, just the ones that they classify. You bid like the other people, and a lot of them need work. They help you with the 203K. But if you live in that house at least 3 years, you'll get 50% off.
Wow.
And I have helped a lot of teachers and a couple of police officers with that program. The problem is with some of this is you have to live in the area and serve the area that the house is in. But in a place like Los Angeles, where Los Angeles County is so huge,
Yeah.
Jefferson County and Louisville, pretty big. Those homes are available to you. Now, there are a lot of stipulations, and it is a little hard work, but it's worth it in the end.
Wow. Another question came in from the chat. If you have a married couple and a house was purchased, but one spouse is not on the deed, can this spouse take a first-time homeowner course for their future home? That's an interesting question. Yeah.
Yes. And also it depends on which state. But as long as if they're buying a house and you got to live in it, guys, usually when you take these first time home buyers courses, you cannot just buy. It's not for investment. It's for living in. Okay. So they're going to ask you, have you had a home in the last 3 to 5 years? If that person is not on the deed, most likely they will still qualify, but you're going to have to live in that. And let me tell you something, they will check to make sure you're living in it. They've hired me before to drive by houses and say, who live in this house?
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. So yes, check with your state person. And here's another clue, guys. Real easy. I know I'm talking Google, but Google just give you everything. Type in first-time home ownership programs for Louisville, Kentucky, for Nashville, Tennessee, and then call them and talk to them and say, what is your criteria for this? Can my husband buy? He's never owned. He's not on my deed. Does it work? Then they will tell you if you can qualify for that program or not. But I've actually closed a few that way.
How? Because normally, I guess the HUD houses, I'm stereotyping now, are the ones that people are most interested in doing the flips with, right? Is that how it works?
Guess what? Investors don't get their hands on those first.
Oh.
No, HUD offers it to true owners first. You have to agree. Now, this is different from the Good Neighbor Next Door program.
Yeah.
You have to agree to live in that house for at least a year. And a lot of the times they're not in the best of neighborhoods, but sometimes you have to kind of take a bite in order to build that wealth. But perfect example, I had a brand new, I couldn't even believe it, in Denver, townhome in Denver downtown that was a HUD home and was able to buy. So if you're willing to take on a project, and you can financially, because you still have to qualify, okay? So don't just think that this goes hand in hand, guys. This is a puzzle piece. If one puzzle piece is missing, you can't complete it. You have to have the lender. You have to have the money. You have to have the house, and you have to have the realtor. This is a puzzle piece. One of those missing or is out of kilter, you're in a lot of trouble.
Wow. So what's the greatest advantage? Well, okay, well, let me ask this a different way. Foreclosure homes.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the best way to enter the flip business, or because I hear that a lot as well?
Well, it used to be, but times have changed. And my company deals with REO, bank-owned properties. They're called Carrington Mortgage. And that's how they got started. They would service these foreclosures, and then they would have them in their inventory. And it used to be that you could get a good deal on them. But now housing all over the world is in such high demand, you're not always going to find a deal. And they're not always the cheapest. Because everybody is doing that. And there's so many investors now after watching all these shows. You're really going to be competing. That's why I say if you're going to do that, you really need to be in a great investors group and have a mentor to do that until you get very savvy at it. So no, REO is not always the way. Let me tell you why. I had one that I can't even believe this one. This was cracking me up. It literally was sticks holding a roof. And this was in Sunland, California. And I got there and they assigned it to me as the agent. And they was like, okay, go out there and market this thing. And I'm like, market what? Like, because it was nothing but sticks and a roof. And I would not even walk in the home because I was afraid that I would fall through.
Oh, wow.
But that house was priced, and this is a foreclosure, guys, with no doors and no windows. They priced it at like $599, and it went for $899. It's not for the faint of heart. A developer bought it because he could. Now, in that case, they will look at it. But they didn't just give it. I mean, they made me take all offers. I had like 50 offers on that house, and I had to present those all to the bank.
Why though? Is that because of the neighborhood it was in, or
no? It just it was a stick house, and it was like it was in LA. Any piece of land that you could get, they could buy it. It was zoned to have R2, which means residential 2. So all the investors were like, we can build a duplex.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you.
The potential of what it could be.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was worth it to them because in California, if you're paying $899 and you turn that into a beautiful piece of art, you now have a $2 million home.
Wow. You mentioned the duplex kid. Shout out to him for doing it the right way. But is the duplex game a game that a lot of us need to look closer at?
No. He was in a condo.
It was. Oh no, I have two. I have one I have several that's bought duplexes.
Oh, I thought it was a condo.
Well, I have so many that
Mama Noise.
Years long, but
respect my game. Respect my game.
Condo kid had 2 bedrooms and rented out 1. But duplex, if you can get it, or a property that is zoned where you can put an R2 on it, like the granny pod.
Right.
Perfect. Yes.
But those are hard to get though, right?
I advise that.
Those are hard to get though, right? I mean, those are hard to find.
They are hard to find, but that's not impossible. But let me tell you a little secret. FHA, which is a government loan that allows you to only put down 3.5% for down payment. That's what it's for. First time home ownership. You can buy up to a 4-plex with that money. There are limits to every state and every area on how much you can use your FHA loan for.
Right.
You are in LA, it's over $1 million if you're buying a property that has 4 units, a 4-plex. But you can, what they do is, as long as you're living in one and you can show that you can have income, a certain amount of income in those other 3 or other 1 or other 2, triplex included, they can include that within your loan as income, and they can help you with that with the FHA.
Wow.
Almost. I'm telling you, slim pickings in LA, but I am seeing more in Florida and in Louisville. And here, let me tell you another little secret. Old Louisville right now, y'all may think it's kind of crazy in LA and Louisville right now. It shocked me when I went home. But right now, you can get a house for still in the West End.
Oh, yeah.
At some point, no question. It's going to come back around. And who is that going to benefit you?
Wow.
Let me ask my question before Mr. Noise.
You know what? It's not my fault you have a mic issue. Go ahead.
We know that Zillow's the enemy. So who is on your side? Who's the advocate?
Let me tell you, there are a couple of good sites out there that I will even though they're not my company, that I think are excellent. And I am a Redfin partner. I partner with Redfin, so I do help them when they need help with buyers. But Redfin, that website right there is fire because they have done their homework. And you don't have to use their agents, guys. Now, let me tell you a little secret about these websites. Just like I told you, Zillow. When you're interested in a home, they're always going to put their agents out there first.
Okay.
Okay. So you don't have to do that. You can even use it if you're working with a realtor right now. But your realtor will also be sending you homes. Once you've defined what you're looking for, we have this thing called the MLS. That gets fed to all of these sites. Zillow, Redfin, Villa, all the stuff. So any app that you can use, I just don't use Zillow, but I do highly recommend Redfin. But just know that they're going to be like, if you're interested in this house, we're going to send you to one of our agents. and you don't necessarily always want that.
How does that even work? Like, okay, so a house goes for sale, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is every agency privy to that house,
Yes.
or is it exclusive to somebody?
Unless the seller wants it to be exclusive to just one company, which nobody wants that because everybody wants their home sold. But you're talking maybe big stars may sometimes want to do that. I only want it to be sold within your company because I don't want it really advertised out there. Like, there's a special
That's
name.
my house and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
But as realtors, our associations agree to partner with one another. So I have my California license, I have my Florida license, but I have access to all the things on the market. And let's face it, this is a digital world today. In 2006, you did not have that access. But
Right.
now you have just as much access as I do. Sometimes you see the house before I do.
Wow.
Because that's how fast it filters down.
I figured that was right because there are times when I will look online and I'll see a house or go around to different housing websites and all of them will have the same house.
Yes, it's the same house. They're all just trying to sell it because there are different parties, and this is very important to talk about. Who represents you? Well, you are a buyer, and say you come to me and you say, hey, I really like you. I want to hire you. I would like you to be my agent. I am a buyer's agent for you. Okay. That means I represent you in this deal. And I'm going to ask you to sign a form called buyer's agency so that you don't go running off to every little agent after I've done all my hard work.
Okay.
And we are going to work together. Okay. I mean, we got to eat too. It's like me trying to tell you to go to work and your boss is not going to pay you for 30 days. I don't get paid until we close. But also, you don't pay me, Mr. Buyer. The seller pays me. So you get me for free 99 until we close. Okay?
Free 99.
Free 99.
Wow.
So I am your buyer's agency. It is my job to make sure that you are covered on all of your information, helping you get educated about that house, sending you reports, sending you listings, writing up the contract, negotiating, helping you with your inspections, helping you with your lender, helping you with your appraiser. That's my job. Now, that's a buyer's agent. A seller's agent is, hey, Laura, I like you. I need to sell my house. And I like your signs. So I want to put your sign in the yard. I am your seller's agent.
Oh, okay.
So I represent the seller. I help you get the house ready to put on the market. I help you with contractors. I market the house. I hire a drone. I hire the photographer. I get it all together. I hold it open houses. I do all those things. I am working for the seller. So you have a seller's agent and you have a buyer's agent that come together for a transaction. And in some cases, it's called a transaction broker or a dual agent.
Okay.
Say like, I have that open house, right? It's my listing. You come in and you don't have a buyer's agent. And you're like, but I like you and I want to try to use you. Well, first off, I have to ask the seller, Mr. Seller, is it all right for me to represent both of you? And now I represent the transaction and no longer just the seller and no longer just the buyer. I don't do that, guys, because it's really hard psychologically to not give someone more weight. My mama taught me well. Okay. Psychologically, you don't think that that little family's so cute. I'm going to see what I can do for them. You can't do that. You have to take yourself out of that. So in that, unless it's a bank-owned home where the bank is like, we don't care, Laura, bring them in. Bring them in. So it could be my buyer or it could be someone else's buyer in that situation and they don't mind. But personally, on a real transaction with what I call real people, I'll just hire my partner who will be completely the buyer's agent on that situation. They will, even though they're my partner or whoever I bring in, we keep it separated and we are not benefiting one another. We are benefiting the transaction.
So at that point, you kind of head to head, like you're saying, you're trying to get the best sell that you can get, and the partner trying to get the best buy that you can get. So there's a negotiation of sorts.
Everything is negotiable.
That's interesting. That's very interesting.
Now, I will tell you, and I'm just being very honest, guys, in this market right now, please don't come to me at a house that's priced at $325,000. But Zillow said it was $250, so we're gonna write an offer for $250. No, ma'am, we're not doing that. We're not doing it, because if I can prove to you that that house is worth at least $350 by looking at the comps in the area. What is a comp? It has to be apples to apples. So if you have a house in the middle of Louisville, Kentucky, I can look back, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house with a basement. I have to look for other 3-bedroom, 2-bath basement houses within a mile radius up to a year ago. Now, that's how things get appraised, and that's how I'm not an appraiser, but that's part of my job to do that.
This is why you gotta watch Love It or Listed, man.
Telling you, because I'm telling
Love It
you.
or Listed. You'll learn that on Love It or Listed. You learn that.
So they just come in with their cute selves and they fluffy stuff. I'm gonna pay $1 million. Okay. No, we don't do that. So I have to prove to you. So yes, sometimes you can get a house for less. I did have one recently where we got it for $10,000 less, just because the seller was like, I gotta go. My job, I can't stay here. And the house was kind of sitting a little bit because people were afraid of solar power. That was the only thing they held it back. And he was like, listen, lady, I will pay the solar power if you buy this house. And that's what he did.
Wow.
But in this market, you truly, truly, truly need to understand that the asking price, if it's not crazy and I can justify for it, you shouldn't be offering less.
Here's a question that I think everybody would love to know the answer to this. Some people may think they know the answer, but I have a feeling the answer is slightly different than what we think. Why, in the name of all that is righteous and decent in the world, is the price of the 3,500 square foot home in California so much different than the 3,500 square foot house in Texas, which is so much different than the 3,500 square foot house in Kentucky, which is so much different than the $3,500 square foot house in Mississippi?
The dream. You do not get the ocean of Santa Monica, Los Angeles, Long Beach, and Louisville, Kentucky.
So I'm paying for the beach?
Oh, you paying for the desire of where that is.
Yeah.
It is area based. The demand comes from what you are offered in that. Texas is a little different beach. You may a different beast. You don't necessarily have a lot of ocean there. You do have a lot, but you still can. Texas is so big, it take you 3 days to drive through it.
Right.
And true, Chad is right. Cost of living as well. So it's the same situation where your cost of living ties into your desires and your wants. Now in Louisville, you got the Ohio River. Let's face it, guys, everybody liked living on that river, which I never understood, because every year that thing would flood and I'd be like, yeah,
Every
it's
year.
gone again. What are you doing? Last year it was gone. Now it's gone again. But it's desire for that area.
So whatever that area got popping, that's going to determine whether or not I'm, so because you're close to Disney World and resorts and it's because the California homes are like
the weather.
Wow.
Oh, the weather. The weather. You don't get cold there. I mean, there are some chilly days, but people will laugh at me and I'm like, oh, it's 73. I'm cold. And people are like, please, girl, this is -0 here. But the benefits of that, and also technology and jobs. Silicon Valley was so hot because they had the tech jobs.
Right.
So you see, it's just the demand for the area and what people are willing to pay. Because guess what? I don't care what an appraiser says a house is worth. What the true value of the house is what the seller and the buyer agree to and say, yeah, it's worth that.
See, when I hear stuff like this, it reminds me of what's happening now with NFTs. Like, the money is as real as we make it. You know what I mean? The price is as real as we agree to it. Like, there, and I get it, but it's like, man, that's a crazy concept of thought that because we all like good weather or what is perceived as good weather. Because I would argue, listen, yeah, I get the weather, but I also get the earthquake. I don't want that. I should probably not have to pay for that.
Right, but in Kentucky, you get the tornadoes.
You get the tornadoes. I don't want to pay for that either.
Both. Now, thank God I did not go through a massive earthquake, but I went through a couple of those rolling ones there, and I'm telling you, I was a little girl. This was not okay with me.
Yeah.
But also, LA has become, and places like New York too. I mean, everybody wants to live the dream on those places, but it's become unlivable to me because if it takes me 2 hours to get across town, I had friends there from Louisville and I couldn't see them all the time. Why? Because it would take me 2.5 hours. And really, if there was no traffic, it would take me 30 minutes. That's not worth it to me.
Right.
To do that. But to someone else, it is. I'll just Uber. That's a big thing.
Well, but you know what's scary here to me, and when I think of homes here in DFW, here in Texas, I think often of the floodplains because every time the news comes on, there's flood. There's been a flood, and you're like, okay, right now we're in a townhome complex, but if you're on a lower level, that's that water can run like right into your front door, and I'm going, man. Every time I think about us going the next step into a home to purchase, I'm going, okay, but what about that area? Because the next thing I know, I see on the news, and they got some type of creek bed or something that rises behind it or whatever, and then washes away the backyard, and I'm going, what is going on?
And guess what? That's people here. You just brought up a great point, and I saw that question earlier, so we'll go back to it. But I want to answer your question. Home ownership, guys, is not just your mortgage. Okay, it is maintenance of your home. It is where you live, because if you live in a flood zone, you're going to have to get flood insurance. In California, you're pretty much going to have to get earthquake insurance. That's extra fees, and you have to account for that. So you have to live within your means. And here's another thing that's happening in California right now. People are losing their home insurances because of the fires that we've been having. So now if you live in a high desired fire zone, you may not be able to get insurance on that home. It may cost you 4 times as much as it used to before those fires ripped through those areas. So this is something you have to take into account. I mean, this is things that we definitely cover in my courses that are totally free. And you ain't got to take it from me if you don't want to, but I urge you.
Take it from her.
Take something.
Let's just settle that now. Just take it from Laura.
Kind of fun. You know what's even better is the ones that I have now. I'm in the process of re-recording because I've lost like 130 pounds. So like one of my clients was like, "Who's this woman?" Oh, that's me. But that was before I lost the weight. So you're gonna get the fluffy and the thinner Lala in those courses while I'm re-recording. Now, someone asked about a decent credit score. Your credit is very, very, very important because, guys, if you have bad credit, then they can offer you a higher interest rate on your loans, and therefore your home ownership payment is going to be much higher. Mm-hmm. A good base score, most of my lenders, and I have 3 or 4 of them that I trust, because you got to earn my trust before I give it to you, will say that a 620 is okay. As long as you don't have a lot of collections or things that you can't justify or clear up, and 620 is pretty good. They would love to see a 650 or more, but I also have a couple of lenders that will help you if you have a 550. Let me tell you how I feel about that, because I don't pull any punches with this. If you have a 550, please don't try to buy a home. Try to fix your credit first, so that you can get the better interest rate. Try to do your best to get it up to a 650, but a 620 to me is your lowest that you really should go.
Now we had on a past Women's Wednesday, we had a credit repair specialist that was trying to help help the noisemakers, understand, for everybody that tries to go through and try to, like, in other words, they're like, the way to clean it up is to just go and pay everybody that's on your, they're like, wait a minute.
Right.
Slow down, get you somebody that's going to help you repair it properly instead of
hurt yourself.
I'm trying to go through and, oh yeah, I had some debt back when I was in college. Let me, they're like, wait a minute. You need to slow down and negotiate some of this stuff. Some of this stuff you don't have to pay full price for.
That's right.
But there's because you're thinking repair means I just need to go through and wipe it out. And they're like, and you don't even get the benefits for that. They don't increase your credit because your credit rating because you went through and took a couple of thou wow and went and paid a whole bunch of little bitty bills.
That's right. And let me tell you something else. If you don't have the funds to help get credit repair, and there's a lot of bad credit repair out there, so make sure you're working with a good reputable person. And I know y'all only have good people on here, so whoever that was, town to that person, okay? Yeah. But a good lender who is willing to help you do that will also help you. All three of my lenders will walk through your credit with you and say, okay, this is what I need you to do. All right, I need you to do this and this, and you need to do it in this order, and I'll help you do it to help you get into the right position. So don't try to do it on your own, because sometimes when you think you're helping yourself, you're ending up hurting yourself more.
Yeah. There's man, we could spend hours upon hours on this. I know we got but I got more questions, so I'm gonna ask them because you said you could stay.
I'm here.
I want to know, how would you encourage someone to get in the real estate game, as they say? So if I have a business, which I do, but I say, man, this real estate thing, Lala makes it sound fascinating and interesting, and I can maybe help some people and also make some money, create another revenue stream. What would you tell the person to do as their first step to get into it?
The first step is to shadow someone, because you really need to see that this is not an easy job. I'm going to share something here that I don't share very often with people. I cried yesterday. I cried over a deal yesterday because I get so involved with my clients.
Wow.
And when they didn't get this one house that they really and truly wanted, I cried with them. This is a very emotional job. And maybe it's the little Pisces in me.
Could be that.
But I've actually grown men to do the same thing. When you care about your clients, you feel what they're going through. Try to shadow someone. Turn off the TV. Don't look at that crap on there, because it's not the truth. Look into some really good real estate schools. And there are many that are online. But if you're completely new to this game and you don't understand that you're going to be living off of a commission, or how you're going to structure yourself, because there's going to be lean times and fattening times, then you need to understand how you're going to balance those as well. How are you going to balance your clients? How are you going to give them the tools that they need? How are you going to pay for all of your association dues? It's not cheap to be an agent. It's feasible, but when that dude starts rolling around, especially if you license in 2 states, you're like, oh, ramen noodles this week, yeah, that sounds kind of good. So you have to
ramen noodles.
Look at the life, right? And then you actually can take the courses and not get the license if you don't want to. The courses are so affordable that you can just take a course on getting into real estate and then doing it. But then get yourself a good mentor. And I've had mentors. I still do. I still tap into people that know more than me because I need their wealth. Always have a friend got a little bit above you. And then you have someone that's underneath you, so you can turn around and help them. You're helping each other in a circle. So first, get educated. Don't believe what you hear out here. There are a lot of agents right now who are getting in because they see it's a hot market and they think that they're going to make $1 million. And then they get in and they get out within the first 6 months. When I started in real estate in 2006, I started at Keller Williams because I loved their education. and I started with them. There were 26 agents that started with me. There's only 2 of us still in the business.
Oh, wow.
Over half of those people dropped out within the first six months.
Wow.
It's not easy, guys, because you got to front a lot of money before you make money. And it's not for the faint of heart. But most of all, never lie to people. If you don't think that you can handle this emotional thing, you don't need to be in this business. Because if you don't know something, or I don't know something, I will say, I don't know. Let me go check. I'm no shame in my game. I gotta go find out. I'm learning like you on some things. But if you can't say that to people and you feel like you just have to give them an answer, whether it's wrong or right, this is not the business for you.
How long would you say? I'm assuming you could say this, but how long would you say it took for you to get your first sold house?
A year. And some people have sold much quicker than me, but we had just moved to Denver. I didn't know anybody. So that's when I was like, I gotta learn some kind of niche because I don't know what I'm doing. So after I got my license and took all of my KW classes, Keller Williams classes, that's when I really sat down and was like, okay, what am I going to do with this thing? Because at first, if you don't have a guide, you're like, I'm not really sure what I need to do. Then when I found my niche, that's when I got my people.
So somebody going into this full time, is it safe to say you would suggest to them, you probably need to start under somebody, maybe get a little cushiony paycheck kind of thing?
Yeah.
Where you're not taking the full blunt and weight of the responsibility. Because
Exactly.
where you are now is more, well, it's not even more, it's all entrepreneurial. So every part of this is on you at this point.
Yes, every part of this is on me now.
Which is a whole different monster than like you said, working for Keller Williams or this, Century 21. I'm dating. I'm dating myself now.
There's no shame in your game if you still need to work your 9 to 5. As long as you tell your clients and you're honest with them and you still can serve them. So maybe you don't take 5 clients at one time. Maybe you take 2.
Right.
So on the evenings, which is most of the times people are going to want to see the houses anyway, and the weekends, you can say, I have a 9 to 5, but I can answer my phone calls at noon and you build your business. Okay. You build your business that way. There are a lot of people who don't mind that, but in this market, they are going to be looking for agents that are full-time mostly because you have to be on it so fast.
Now, cuz is mentally, he said, what part of Denver did you live in? Because he lived in Colorado.
I lived in Westminster in between Boulder and Denver.
Are you satisfied, cuz?
And my son still lives there.
So still lives. Wow. So now let me ask you the $1 million question that me and Mama Noise want to know.
Yeah.
Real estate, selling real estate, is it worth it? Is it rewarding?
It is if you want to put the hard work in. Let's face it. There are times where I do deals and I'm like, wow, that was pretty easy and I got a paycheck for that. And then there are times like now when the market is so crazy and I'm working with a buyer where at the end of the day and you get your paycheck, you're like, oh boy, this one, I earned this one and this one needs to stay in my pocket. Like I showed 50 houses in Jacksonville, Florida. Who does that? There's not very many agents that do that, but this is my good friend. And I want her to have a good experience. And she flew down here to do that. So it was big. So I was exhausted. But at the end of the day, I'm going to have to balance the gas, the car, the overnight stay, the dinners. See, you can make lucrative money. You can make good money. But if you don't stay on top of your game and you let people fall by the wayside and you start being what they consider, oh, don't use that agent, it may not be that. You need to make sure that when you get into this, whether part-time or full-time, you're going to give it your full dedication. I know a cop in Denver who just started selling on his time off.
Wow.
That was his niche. He started selling to his other cop friends.
Cuz has 2 questions. What city are you working in now? And are you a buyer's agent or a listing agent?
I'm both. I am both. I'm an agent that does both. I have a listing that I'm getting ready to put here on in Florida. I am licensed in Florida, which means I could sell in any part of the state. I'm also licensed in California. Any part of California I can help you with. When you get your license, it's a state license. So I'm licensed in California and Florida. And I will be putting a listing on the market here in Florida next week.
You're literally coast to coast.
I am. I am.
Literally coast to coast.
I am. And you know what? It benefits me a lot too, because there are a lot of people leaving California because it's just too expensive and they can't find
expensive.
places.
It is expensive. We got acting friends, Kenyatta and I, who are trying to make it out there, and we look at them and go, I don't know how y'all doing it, because that's what planes are for, man. It's probably cheaper to just get a plane and fly out for any audition you need or whatever. And now auditions are virtual, so you know, and that's probably not going to change for a while. So.
Yeah, one of my friends, she decided to leave LA and she said she got residency in Las Vegas. Yeah. And she said you could catch a flight. It's cheaper to catch a flight back and forth into LA whenever you need to, and then get out of Dodge and get back to Las Vegas.
Yes. It's so, and we've seen a lot of changes since being there. We've been there 13 years. When we first moved there weren't a whole lot of tent cities of homeless. Now, wherever you go, including Beverly Hills, y'all, let's be real. You're going to see tent cities. Now, they'll get them cleared out a little bit faster in Beverly Hills. But I actually had to stop running because I learned to run and jog. I had to stop running some of the places that I used to run because they wasn't safe. And it wasn't safe.
Yeah. Wow. Is there an area of the country that you want to or wish you were in right now?
No, I think this is more personal. I think our country is in a lot of turmoil, and wherever you go, you're going to suffer a lot of that, especially if you're a person of color. I have found that to be true in Florida. And I have found that to be true in California, even though California is considered progressive, especially in these last 4 years. I've been called the N-word on how many times, or most of them think I'm Hispanic, or they'll call me something with that, and you just blink your eye. I don't really have a desired place in our country right now until our country heals. But I will go and serve wherever I need to serve. I am still a world citizen regardless.
Wow. I wish you lived in Texas.
I think that's why we keep getting questions from folks in Texas saying, so.
Actually,
I have in Texas.
Fabulous agent in Texas that is my partner. Like I said, I have a partner everywhere. I mean, I have partners in all cities, and I'll make sure that you get a good person. And if you're not happy with that person, you come to me and I make it right. I try to work with people who work like me, and I have an excellent partner. I have a team now. I'm a team lead in California, and I have a great person because he works like me. You have to be around people who are equally yoked.
Yeah. Come on, preacher. I saw the preacher in you just now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
All right, let's give out all the information because everybody wants to know where, no matter where they live.
They like Kentucky partner, please.
Yes, I got you. I'm actually getting ready to list one in Kentucky in a couple of weeks, I think.
Wow. All right, so here's what you do. If you wherever you are, if you're trying to get a good agent, Laura can hook you up. And or if you live in California, if you live in Florida, she's definitely got you. She can do it herself. She don't even need nobody. She can do it herself. But LauraKey.net is the website to go to. And I think there's a contact us on there that you can reach her through that. This is going to get you to any and everything that is you need. The books, the classes, everything, the Instagram. I would say hit in the DM, but just do it above board because I don't want Will shooting you.
You're good. He sees everything. We're open. We're good.
Okay. All right. So you can hit in the DM, but if you hit in the DM from this program, let her know you're a noisemaker and that you heard it on this show. That way we know it's above board because the noisemakers are above board, but I just want to make sure ain't no thing. Plus, I don't,
I want to throw this out here because a lot of people don't take advantage with me, and I don't know why. But if you buy or sell with me, I will donate $100 to an organization in your name, and it could be any organization. It could be the Noisemakers.
Yay!
See, they want to know who your Kentucky partner is. They're ready to do business.
Yeah, well, her name is Wendy, so I'll give you more information on that if you DM me.
Hit DM Ron, that's Ron from the show. So
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, Ron, hit her up and get he said the DM hours are 9 to 5 only.
That's one thing that people don't understand. He said 9 to 5. No, we work all the time. Now, me personally, I've learned to shut off my phone at 8 p.m. so I can have some hubby wife time and we can watch movies and have popcorn from Popcorn World.
You sell it. Sell it.
It's so addicting. I'm not to gain this weight back.
But I'm probably gonna put in the order for Derby.
I'm just saying.
You probably gonna put in the order for Derby for sure.
I'm telling you, even now when the song comes on, I'm like,
she like, I need to order some popcorn.
But most of the time I'm pretty available.
Awesome. And I wasn't done. I don't know why I stopped. I think Ron, I got distracted by Ron's question, so that was good. Okay, but yeah, go here and you can get the books, you can get the Instagram, Facebook. There's all types of contact information, YouTube. Just you need to connect with her. This is one of the easiest ways to do it. So, but also you can go to the website and get it as well. But listen, you see what it is. She's amazing. And she's always been amazing coming on the show, repping for the ladies. But we wanted to have her come on and just really show the level of brilliance that she possesses. She's not just some Rudy out here. She's got game, y'all. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And she's amazing. Hope you hit her up in the DMs because you had a lot of interesting questions. So she could probably help you.
Have a lot of interesting questions.
Yeah,
but
she has.
If there's anything, guys, if there's anything I get across at all today, and I know we're trying to educate people. I really want you to understand. Don't you ever say I can't own a home. Yes, you can. And it may not be that big $1 million mansion that you want to start out with, but it could be a little condo that gets you next to a townhome, that gets you next to a duplex, that gets you next to you can build your wealth. Don't you let anybody tell you can't. You just have to be willing to put in the work if you need to put it in there with your credit, with your loan, and your education. An educated buyer is the most priceless thing that you can have. So educate yourself.
And this is an educated teacher that's going to help you get ready. So I'm just telling you, this is we brought on high quality today.
High quality.
So y'all can have this this information that you need to get started. So Lala, you're amazing. You know that. I don't even tell you that.
Thank you.
You're our sister and we love you and you just dope AF, as the kids would say.
I like that mogul part. I think we need to keep that on there because I heard her in the beginning. She said, trade school, and trade school always gets some type of has some type of stigma. But I disagree. I think that you like Dr. Laura. So I like that mogul. I like Dr. Laura.
I've gone out of my way over the last 10 years to try to dispel the stigma that our generation had around trade school because we were told a bill of goods. Like we were told, oh, trade school. It was the implication was that it was a failure of your public education, and that because you didn't study well or you didn't do this or you didn't do that, you had to settle for trade school. But the problem is, every time something break down in my house, I'm calling somebody from trade school. Every time I need to make a major move in my life, like real estate or like insurance, these guys that are coming out of trade school situations. So the truth is, it's not less. It has never been less than. It has always been just a different path.
But didn't we talk about public perception?
Yeah.
People are fickle. You have to open your mind. Not every kid needs to go to a 4-year college.
Facts. That's huge facts. And we got to stop telling our children that lie. Like that's a lie. It's been a lie. It's always going to be a lie. It's not for everybody. It's not everybody's path. And education now more than ever is the path to great education can come from several different roads. So you just have to figure out what road you best travel, what best way. And by the way, I struggle tremendously telling any child to go to get some 4-year education and pay this goo gobs of money to come out and get a $30,000 to $40,000 a year job. That doesn't make any sense. The math is wrong with that. So that's what I'm saying. We got to do a better job of helping our kids and helping young people and adults as well find the right paths for their journey.
That's right. My son went to hair school. I'm telling you, he's busy. He's got his own business. He done runway. He does weddings, and he wasn't a 4-year college kid. Who cares? He's happy in what he's doing.
There you go.
And I just stop telling these kids this mess. We don't have to do that. You be you, and stop trying to please somebody else.
You know, I told one of my friends, I said, this guy I know was saying he was going to trade school because he wanted to be an air conditioned, whatever they're called, the people that maintenance air conditions. And I was like, I said, that is fantastic. I said, because guess what? It doesn't matter. Like you said, you got millionaires over here, thousandaires, hundredaires. Everybody needs some air conditioning.
That's right.
Somebody gonna need, thank you, Jay, the HVAC. Those people that maintain those type of units and stuff. Hey, as soon as, it doesn't matter what the lucrative things we have going on, please believe if there is a problem with the air conditioning, everything stops and everybody's looking for the person who can fix it. So,
and let me tell you who's racking up right now. Home contractors, electricians, plumbers. Are you kidding me? I can't even get a survey guy right now. So I'm sorry, Miss Key, I can't get you for 6 months. I'm busy. Oh, okay. You can't tell me if my fence is on the wrong side. I gotta wait for 6 months. That's trade school. There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing for you about that.
$2,700 per house.
Wow.
That's right.
Shout out to trade school. Okay, we gotta go. Lala, you're amazing again. Listen, to Ron's point, if you want to pull up for Uncork Wine, you can. I mean, that's a very different show. Yeah.
They be saying they need they need more estrogen. They need more estrogen. And see, I can't just, I got to get the special kind. Like she said, I only rub elbows with those.
You're gonna say too much. You're gonna say too much. I can feel it.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. No, I'm saying she said that she rock with people that are just like her and have the same energy. And I'm saying she's got the same energy that
I'm just saying, watch it. There's a line. Don't look down. Just look down where you are.
You guys are so great. Where y'all don't sound like me and Will.
No, I'm just saying because you can tell, you can feel it. Like as a husband, you can feel it. You like, ooh, really? This is. I gotta stop her. Let me stop her.
Yeah, I hear Will right now, baby.
Yeah. She's right there.
Yes. Okay.
And I can see it. And as one, you did good though. I'm proud of you. All right, real quick. So church announcements. We got the fantasy show tonight. Y'all don't want to miss that. That's gonna be amazing. Cause I'm gonna save my team tonight. And then we're going to talk some NBA playoffs. And then, of course, I'm getting with my man Charlie Ward and Kendrick Haskins to do our version of the Fantasy Draft Show. And we're going to be talking about the defensive side of the ball because the draft is tomorrow. Shout out to the young John Alexander, who we pray and hope for a drafting situation for him. We're hoping that tomorrow's a happy day. Or the next few days is a happy day. I'll say it that way. But we're excited to see what happens with that young man. But anyway, that's what's going on. And then, of course, Black Friday will be tomorrow night, even though it's Thursday, because we're off on Friday. So just FYI, just FYI to everybody coming through. That's funny. Yeah, I guess he could do that if he wanted to. Okay, that's it. That's all we got. Mama Noise, am I forgetting anything? Are we good?
No, I think you have everything.
Okay, then. Well, if all minds are clear,
oh my gosh.
We thank the guest evangelist.
Yeah.
Laura Key for coming in and blessing us.
I mean, she is
such
a
mighty
plethora,
word.
A plethora of information. Listen.
Listen, let me tell you how good this show was today. We didn't even give a call to worship. This was like a midday Bible study.
I'm just saying.
Well, plus white organist is working right now. So he worked well because we flipped the shows. You know, we don't normally do. So he took a day job. He was like, well, if I ain't got to work during the day, I'll just work, I'll go play for somebody. And I was like, that's fine. But he can't use the keyboard. I told him that. I don't care.
Oh.
Because he be trying to, it's a long story, Lord. I don't even want to bore you with it, but he's a lot. He can be a lot sometimes. Okay. With that being said, y'all have a blessed day. We got to let Laura go sell some houses. We out this piece.